Hi, and welcome to this quick how-to help video on using isometric dotted paper to draw 3D shapes. Now, I emphasize dotted because it's not the only type of isometric paper that you can get, but it is the type of paper that you would be expected to use if a question on this came up in your GCSE. So I think it's really important for us to get used to this particular paper. I am going to demonstrate the two 3D shapes that obviously you can see. And I've got a whole selection for you to practice at the end. If you wanted to stay and do some questions from somewhere, then obviously they're available to you at the end. So first things first, the isometric paper is about drawing cubes. Cubes have equal edges. So creating lines that are equal in length are key to getting this right. So let's look at that first of all. So if I take this point here, and I'm just going to exaggerate that point, I can go off in this direction and I can create a line. If I go in that direction, I'm going to create a line that is equal in length. However, if I go off in that direction and get to the closest one I can get to, you can already see how much longer that line is. So that is not an okay movement on this paper, because I absolutely do need to be finding directions that give me equal lengths. Now, a vertical direction will work here. So if I go up to my dot like that, again, you can visually see that that is equal. So a single dot has three possible directions. There are two diagonals that it could take, or a vertical, but it can never take a horizontal. So a horizontal movement of any kind, and I'm going to exaggerate one over here, that just is not okay. All right. So tram lines, I call them, that is an okay movement. Moving along those dots works, and moving along those dots work, and so on and so forth. So the reason that I have set my first kind of example, if you like, is this is always my starting point. I have my dot and then I create what looks a bit like a Y. So what you want to do always when you're drawing your first cube is to take a center point and then draw out what looks like a Y shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move around the outside of that center point. So I'll show you with my dotted line. I am going to take and move myself all the way around the outside. So that is circling, and I'm going to do it kind of like that now. That is circling the center point. But if I do it with straight edges, and you're going to have to bear with me because the software I use kind of likes to go off in all sorts of directions. If I draw straight edges as I go around the outside, I can start to create the first 3D cube on my paper. Now I'm going to go freehand rather than straight edges, just to make things a little bit easier. When I now build onto that, so let's say I want to put two on top of each other, all I need to do is follow the tram lines. So these are my vertical lines, and then they would join, and I've got two on top of each other. If I want to go off in a particular direction, follow the tram lines of those directions. There you can see that I've kind of got the front face. I can see the front 2D square, and I now do not deviate, go directly from one square to the next, and I've kind of built on a cube at the back. And if I do it again, I get kind of, that's my center point, which is not necessarily something you have to see, but something I'm pointing out. To finish this cuboid, go along that tram lines, okay? Don't go off in a funny direction, all right? Because even though that works, what that's going to do when you start joining it up is creating lots of them all on top of each other. And I'll just pop that on so you can see it. And you also get this kind of extra line that you no longer want. So I'm going to show you a way to avoid that. We're just going to crack on with that first one so that I can just show you all the little tricks and tips that I have up my sleeve. So the first thing you'll note is obviously I've used colour. I love colour. Colour is a big part of my maths teaching, and it works a dream here, okay? So I'm going to get that first Y in. I'm going to draw around the outside. Now I'm doing this freehand, but you would be doing this with a ruler, all right? If I put the colour in at this stage, I can see I've got a red face here. In fact, I'll use my highlighters. I've got a blue face here, and I've got a green face on the top. So this is my first top tip, okay? As I now proceed to build this shape, okay, I want to be really focused in on the part of the 3D shape that has no splits. I can see all of the red. There's no splits. You can see that the green is split levels. The blue is split levels. But the red isn't. The red is one smooth surface. So I'm not going to start thinking in cuboids. I'm actually just going to think of that red surface. It's an elevation of my 3D shape, if you want a mathematical word. And I'm actually going to concentrate on building that. So I know I need another square underneath. So there it is. I want a square going back, follow those tram lines back, and a square coming forward, follow them coming forward. And then I can start to complete it. All right. If you want to, you can stop at that stage, get the coloring of the red in, because it can make a big difference to what you can see and do next. So I can see a little green triangle there, and I can see that if I join that up, I create that triangle, and I can go ahead and color that in if I want to. So building it from the surface that isn't broken just makes the whole thing a whole lot easier. So I'm just going to finish this off now. And I've got my green going in on the top and my blue going in on the side. And I can see how much that works. So in a GCSE exam, they're not going to have that shape colored in. They're just going to give you the 3D shape and say, draw it on this piece of isometric paper that I've given you. So the first job is get your color in. If you don't have colors, put spots on the top, put stripes on the side, do something that makes them stand out for you. All right. So let's look at this next one. I'm going to do my Y as always. Join it round. And I've got my first shape or cube in. Now, which one is that? Okay. Is it that one at the very front? Is it that one at the very top? I mean, it could be either, but and again, top tip, I would always put the highest cube in first and build it down. And then you get less of the pesky lines that come in to cause confusion. All right. So looking at the second shape, it's the blue surface, it's unbroken. So it is the blue that I am completely focused on. And I can see that I've already got the top one in. So I've just got another 2 to draw underneath. So there is 1 more. There is 2 more. I can see that there are 2 coming forwards towards me. So following the tram lines towards me will give me the squares, and then color it all in. Don't do anything else until that's colored in. I've got 3 going down, so that's working. And then I've got 3 coming across. So that is all working a treat. So now I'm going to pick really anything that works for me. So going straight down with that red makes sense to me right now. And we all kind of see things differently, and there isn't always one perfect place, but that happens to be a really good starting point. I'm now seeing, my eyes are seeing that green coming towards me, that top of the shape. So that is going to be my next thing. and it's 2, and I'm feeling confident. I'm doing 2 all in one go. But I am going to colour in so I don't forget or miss-see what could happen next. Now I could come straight down at the front, or I could start going back. So I could finish this cuboid at the front, or I could finish this cuboid at the back. I'm going to go for the front and colour that in with the red. And then I'm going to take the last bit back, following those tram lines. I can see a little red, orange, so I'm going to put it in straight away. I could colour my green first before I do that, and there it is. They are not great drawings because they are not drawn with a ruler, but when you are first learning, it's not a bad idea to just put the ruler to one side and get a feel for this paper first, all right? And then you would be obviously picking your ruler up. And, you know, look how great they look when all the edges are really straight and you've literally gone from dot to dot. So those are my hand versions where I've taken a bit more time and care over it. The last thing that I want to warn you about is if you are working on this and you've just got a sheet of paper in front of you, it does have to be in a particular orientation, either landscape or portrait. And this here is just trying to demo why that's important. If I went to try and put my Y on, I would do this and I'd have to go straight down, and you can see straight away, that's not right. They are not all the same, equal in length. That is absolutely wrong. And it's not you going with the idea of the Y and then messing it up. The Y works every time if the paper is the right way round. So that had been twisted 90 degrees to show you how something little like that can then come along and blow your mind. So just make sure you've got it in the right way. And that's it. Drawing on Dotty paper. Okay. Here are some extra questions of all sorts of difficulty. So if you wanted something quick and easy, save you looking for it, there they are. You can just print yourself off some Dotty paper from the internet and practice that to your heart's content. So I hope you have found this useful. If you have, please subscribe, because there's lots of different videos coming up all the time. They're quick and to the point, I hope, and really, really helpful. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this Target Maths How to Help video.